Awesome. Okay, so let's introduce everyone that we are going to hear from today. We are so fortunate to have Christy, Alenka, and Shannon with us. Christy Hoagland, the Director of Operational Excellence at Snohomish County, draws upon 23 years of experience in lean leadership. Her healthcare leadership background includes overseeing revenue cycle, clinic, and hospital operations, where she successfully implemented and sustained lean management. Christie's passion for lean drives her mission to build programs that cultivate lean leaders who champion innovation, empower staff, and foster a continuous improvement mindset for the benefit of both employees and residents. Alenka Fields is a continuous improvement specialist, project manager, and change practitioner for Snohomish County. She has over 20 years of lean transformation experience as a coach and consultant for a variety of organizations in healthcare and insurance within the US as well as the UK and Canada. Alenka has a passion for coaching and guiding leaders and teams, and on her deck overlooking the sound with her husband and Doodle is her Zen place. Shannon Boswell is currently a continuous improvement specialist and project manager at Snohomish County as of January 2023. Shannon brings over 20 years of hands-on lean experience in healthcare, as well as consulting and organization transformation and change management. Pairing lean concepts with practical experience, she works with executives, frontline staff, and everyone in between in the implementation, adoption, sustainment, and realization of successful lean management. We have got a stacked presentation for you today with these lovely ladies. And so without further ado, I am going to give the mic over to Christy.
Wonderful. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining. So we are really excited to share our bumpy path to creating our continuous improvement leader program we call our secret sauce. So both Shannon and Alenka, who you just met, will be presenting today as well. But first, we want to know where everyone in the Northwest is. So please take your phone and point it at the QR code or enter the website menti.com and mark where you are located.
Oh, there we go.
So far, lots of Western Washington. Oh, I see some Idaho and Oregon, Eastern Washington.
Wyoming.
That's incredible. Oh, we even have Canada, Vancouver Island, it looks like, Montana, more in Idaho. Looks like we have some California, Northern California as well. That is very exciting. I had no idea there was so many of us outside of Washington. I knew there was a few, but much more than I expected. So everybody from the Northwest, welcome. All right, so we're going to now go on. So today we're going to share how we developed our continuous improvement leader program. But first, I'd like to share why. Snohomish County Executive Summers believes a culture of innovation and continuous improvement is the way to unburden our staff and improve how we do business every day. Empowering employees to come up with solutions to problems, challenging how we've always done things, and promoting a learning culture, and to make a choice every day to leverage technology to the best of our ability to ultimately improve customer service. Snohomish County has 25 departments and offices staffed by over 3,500 employees. Without leaders ready to coach and support staff to identify problems and find solutions, continuous improvement efforts will not be successful or long-lived. Many of you will share in understanding how challenging it is to bring continuous improvement to local government. We have processes that have been in place for a long time. There is a way of doing things, and for some, staff question why would we want to change things? There's a bit of fear, some mistrust. I've even had staff inform me they're not allowed to talk to us. All these things are tough challenges, but the biggest challenge is staff time and availability to spend on problem identification and solving. There's not enough emphasis on encouraging and prioritizing time for teams to identify and solve problems. Unfortunately, there's often time enough for workarounds. When resources are limited, it's crucial for leadership to support ongoing work and simultaneously ensure that teams can focus on improving processes. The CI Leader Program will provide information to move leaders out of traditional culture and into continuous improvement culture. Some examples of traditional leadership culture versus lean leadership culture. Managers telling versus managers teaching and enabling. Guarding information versus sharing information. And one of the more common ones in our area is expert driven instead of process driven. Creating a culture of continuous improvement in government can be likened to tending a garden. Just as a gardener carefully plants seeds, nurtures them, and continuously tends to his garden to ensure it thrives, government leaders must plant the seeds of improvement, nurture their teams, and continuously monitor and adjust their strategies to foster growth and innovation. We planted seeds and we've been cultivating, but we needed to add some fertilizer. The CI Leader Program is our fertilizer, equipping leaders with lean leadership, which will provide additional resources, training, and support to help these ideas take root and grow. Arming leaders and staff with the skills to coach and mentor is critical to the success of any continuous improvement effort. The program the team ultimately created is 9 sessions over 18 weeks with a final project of establishing and maintaining daily management, which we call daily readiness review. We all know that the people who do the work should improve the work. Leaders who create that safe environment to experiment and to be curious are the most successful. By leaders supporting their teams in these ways, a leader can cultivate a culture that drives positive change, allowing for both customers and staff to reap the benefits of a well-tended garden or a well-tended culture of continuous improvement, our secret sauce. Lean content, leader skills, and interactive activities and discussion leading to more efficient and effective government services. Now I'm going to hand it off to Shannon Boswell to tell you more.
Hello, I'm Shannon Boswell, and I'm going to take you through how we developed the CI Leader Program. When I joined the team in January of 2023, Christy shared her desire to create a continuous improvement leader program. As we began the development of this program, we were clear on a few thoughts. Lean concepts would be at the center of the training. Creating a culture of continuous improvement would require leaders to have a good understanding of lean methodology. It's hard to support something that you don't understand. We also wanted to provide specific leadership skills, which are essential in order to support the lean work and build a culture of continuous improvement. Some of these skills and behaviors may be counterintuitive or not a part of a traditional model, as Christy discussed. When there are so many things to learn, how do we provide as much information as possible to support our leaders without overwhelming them? We knew this is something that they needed to be able to embrace. As a team, we also discussed some of the past trainings where we have participated. Some of those sessions were very passive in nature. In those settings, when you looked around the room, you would see people falling asleep, checking their phones, or reading up on the next sessions. While we needed to provide some good content, we also wanted to make this as interactive as possible and include some shared learning opportunities. Pre-work was also an important part of this curriculum. We wanted the participants to get into the right mindset before the class even started. We wanted to prime the pump and have the leaders come to the session with some thoughts and perspectives around assignments and come prepared for fruitful conversations. So as we developed the content, it became a tried and true PDCA cycle. Originally, the content was very heavy in the first draft. There were too many concepts being jammed into 3-hour sessions. So in the second draft, we tried expanding the number of sessions and in order to contain all the training that we wanted to include. But there was still too much content, and it wasn't providing the amount of interaction that we were hoping for. So we needed to pivot. We wanted to introduce more activities and discussions where all participants are learning from one another, not just from the presenter. This required us to stop trying to put all the great ideas into one program. We had to decide what are the most important concepts for leaders to learn to be able to apply lean to their own work while engaging and coaching their teams. We didn't need to include the more advanced lean concepts at this time. If the team needed more advanced lean events, our operational excellence team would be facilitating that work anyways. That took us back to the core lean concepts as a starting point. Now, before we start taking a closer look at our CI Leader program, I'd like to get your opinion. What do you think are the skills that are essential for leaders to fully support continuous improvement efforts? We're going to create a little word cloud here, and I'd love to see what your thoughts are. Communication. That's coming out strong right out of the gate. Trust, emotional intelligence, listening,
Oh, I
facility.
love patience.
Oh, patience. Amen.
Definitely patient.
Wow, this is great. Kindness, humbleness, curiosity. Oh, this is good. Compassion, transparency. Yes. Yep. You guys get us. This is exactly what we're looking for. Accountability. Absolutely.
Flexibility too.
Yes,
Yep.
flexibility. That's great. Oh, this is fabulous. Well, I think this is one that we'll capture and keep because this has you guys are right in line with us. So this is really great. So thank you for participating with us. So I'm going to be honest. The thought of the having to organize the thoughts that were flying around in my head became so overwhelming. Where do I start? How do I organize all my ideas in a way where I can easily sort through them? I've used Miro before and I decided this would be a great tool for this project. For this exercise, I'm just using the free version. There are other tools out there too that work really well, like Microsoft Whiteboard and many others, but let's go ahead and take a look here. So for those of you who haven't used Miro, this is a great tool, not only for collecting thoughts like I'm going to be sharing today, but also for engaging people in a virtual setting. It allows you to conduct whiteboard activities with stickies for brainstorming or gallery walks or other team activities without needing to be in person. And so it's a great way to interact with folks. So here you can see my the 3 different working areas of the board. This is my first uh, CI Leader program, and the second, and then the third. So let me make sure I'm on my... So first, let's go ahead and zoom in here and take a closer look at this area here. So I hope I don't make anyone dizzy here. So in our first efforts, we had a mini retreat where we introduced some initial thoughts about an overarching strategy to kind of get the ideas flowing. We collected all those great ideas and we put them on stickies. So as we started organizing these ideas, I wanted to think about what specific categories I wanted to cover and what sort of format I wanted to think about for this program. So at the very top, you can see the sessions. And at the beginning, our intent was to have 3-hour sessions. The next row down includes the core lean concepts to cover during that session. In the areas down below, you can see where, is a place to capture some additional content that might be needed to address skills or behaviors that leaders may need in order to shore up that core lean training. Or it may be a place to add other topics for developing leaders. We talked about wanting it to be interactive. So this was a place where we could collect ideas on activities that we might be able to use during each session. Then there's a place for collecting the pre-work and eventually the forms that we would be using as a part of that session. So this format was really helpful as I started researching content for this program. It gave me a place to put ideas in and then move them around as the product began to kind of evolve. From the beginning, we knew we wanted daily management or daily readiness review to be a part of the final project for this training because we felt it was a good way to incorporate a lot of the core lean trainings that led up to the end of this program here. Now off to the right side here, we can see some stickies. As we were developing this format, we wanted to start keeping track of what trainings do we need. And then since this is actually a working list for us, what are things that are works in process and what are trainings that are completed. And so, for example, this one I know is completed, so I can actually move it down here. Anyways, it was a great way for us to take a look and keep track of all those trainings. So we presented we presented the first one to my team, and the feedback was it was too long and there was no way that we were going to get 3 hours for 7 sessions from our leaders. And so, and that there just wasn't, with all this content, there wasn't enough time to do any sort of interactive activities. So enter CI Leader Training 2.0. Now we've got 14 sessions with a report out, and these have moved to now 2-hour sessions. But you may notice that there are more stickies because the research kept going on and a lot more great activities came into my view. And so I started adding more into these sessions now that we had more sessions. But I developed the first 3 sessions and then took it back to my team. And the feedback, lo and behold, was the same. Too much content, way too much. So we stopped and really decided to streamline things. So now we decided on what key lean concepts that we wanted every leader to master. And that really helped us to kind of sort through what were the things that were really essential, we felt, for them to be successful as leaders, as opposed to a lot of cool ideas that are out there. So we narrowed it down, and this really helped us to make more sense of what this program was going to look like. And so one of the first things you probably notice is there's far fewer stickies here, and there's far fewer stickies. There's just not as much content since it's streamlined. The other thing we did is we decided we wanted to start, pretty close to the beginning with Lencioni's 5 dysfunctions of a team training. It's so important for teams to be functional and trusting as a good foundational for the changes ahead. So we felt like that was really important to provide for the leadership. you don't need to write this stuff down because this should be in your handout. So you will have all of this information here on our grids here. Down below, you can see some of the activities that we came up with and the pre-work and the forms. So as this content was finalized, I changed the sticky colors to provide more visual management so that each session, you could see what was included with each session a little bit easier. You can also see some ideas on the outside here on this side and again on this side. And we loved a lot of these ideas. We just, once we streamlined it and it was making sense over there in the CI leader training, what do we do with these ideas? If they don't fit into the CI leader training, what are we going to do with these ideas? And so Link will talk to you about that in just a few moments. So let's go back to the PowerPoint here. And I'm going to advance. All right, so this is just another version of the mural board, simplified with bullet points that can be shared with potential candidates so that they can see what is included in our training sessions. In session 1, we discuss CI leadership, what it is and what it is not. We discuss the idea of systems thinking and why this is important for organizations. And then we also discuss why lean is important in government. In session 2, as mentioned earlier, we cover the 5 dysfunctions of a team. We have the leaders complete a team assessment, even though it's just a very small part of what's required in order to do a full team assessment. I mean, it's only one person, right? It's important to at least give the leaders an idea of what the assessment process is all about and how to go about it. Since we're expecting them to lead it, it's important for them to understand what that process is before they're in front of their team. We also have them complete a Thomas Kilmann conflict mode assessment to understand more about how they behave while experiencing conflict for better self-awareness. In session 3, we cover identifying waste. We talk about assumptions and inferences and how we may use them, right or wrong, in decision making. And finally, we take a deeper dive into lean in government. In session 4, we cover problem identification and problem solving. We discuss the Toyota leadership development model, including respect for people and what that means for leaders. In session 5, we cover mistake proofing, and we discuss learning from failure, as well as maybe if we shouldn't call it failure at all. We begin to talk about metrics. And as a part of that, we include some fun activities around creating Pareto charts. And because I think it's important in problem solving to understand the what and where problems may be occurring. In session 6, we talk about 5S and visual management. These are 2 topics that are good to partner together because it's hard to sustain 5S without visual management in place. In session 7, we cover standard work and the leader's role in standard work. We also discuss the need for change management and the tools available to us at Snohomish County. We use the ProSci model of change management, and we let them know about how they can engage our change practitioners for successful adoption of change efforts. In session 8, we discuss leader standard work, including leader rounding. We talk about, we work with leaders to help build skills around process flow mapping in order to understand what's really happening in their work areas. And in our final session, we cover daily readiness review. We revisit Lencioni's dysfunctions of lack of accountability and lack of attention to results. since they will need to have a good grasp of this as a part of their final project, we also talk about KPI creation. It's something our organization is moving towards, and so these skills will help them not only for the final project, but for what's coming down the road as well. And now Alenka is going to share what we've learned in the next steps.
Hi, everyone. I'm Alenka Fields, and I'm going to share a little bit more about our expectations of the participants in our CI Leader Training Program, next steps for them, and how we can really stay connected with them both during and after they complete their certificate. So, as Shannon previously shared, our goal was to develop a program that is experiential and provides participants with a group of like-minded leaders who they can continue to learn from and stay connected with on their continuous improvement journey. As we all know, lean and continuous improvement concepts and tools cannot simply be learned theoretically in a classroom. They must be put into practice regularly in order to be fully understood. It's a use it or lose it type of learning. As the sessions progress, we provide articles and assignments for participants to put their continuous improvement learnings into practice in their work areas. And then during the following session, we review the previous session's learnings and ask participants to share how they applied it in their work areas. Many aha moments are shared by participants during this. We also repeatedly talk about how participants can reach out to us for coaching help as they are implementing some of these learnings. We're always available by email whenever they would like to get some extra coaching help. And in the next slide, I'm going to share ways they can reach out for that coaching help. So this is the homepage for the Office of Operational Excellence. We encourage all staff, and especially the CI Leader participants in any of our programs, to visit the site and reach out to us for coaching assistance. This is especially important after they have completed their CI Leader certificate program, because we really want to stay connected with them as they continue to develop and support their teams in finding and implementing improvements. Our training page, as you will see down at the bottom of this slide, there's a tile there that says training. And this is where Snohomish County leaders can self-select to be enrolled in the CI Leader Training Program. It's also where participants can access a lot of other additional training opportunities for their teams. There are resources and articles, many of which we incorporate into the CI Leader Program that they can access and share with their teams. We've developed a variety of options for training all levels of the organization. And we encourage our CI Leader participants to find and request additional training for their teams. In collaboration with our HR team, we've developed WOW, or Wipe Out Waste, on-demand training that any staff member can take at any time. Our ultimate geeky continuous improvement dream is that eventually the first two Wipe Out Waste trainings, that those are waste identification and problem solving, will be required for all staff. We also offer the option of requesting in-person training for an entire team or group. An example of that is a group where a leader has gone through CI training, has requested that we come and do 5 dysfunctions of a team for her entire leadership group, all of her supervisors and everything. So that's pretty exciting. We know that not everyone listening to this presentation is fortunate enough to have a senior leadership team that will support this level of program development. but we want to share with you that we all started somewhere. Our team started really small, just offering some in-person classes to interested departments. We had the WOW trainings, but they weren't on demand, but we had them developed. And initially it was simply helping departments learn how to identify waste and work through idea generation and problem solving, or completing a 5S project. So before we had a fully developed website, we would incorporate these concepts into other project management work that we were already doing and really encourage leadership to have us deliver some training to their teams. So basically being available and having training prepared that we could deliver is how we began, and it grew from there. So operational excellence, our team really wants to promote and celebrate great ideas. And so as leaders complete their certificate program, they will be required to submit completed ideas using the CI form. And I'll talk more a little bit about that later. But you can see here, this is also on our website, they can access that CI form. Here they can access the form. And also if they've already worked with one of their staff to make an improvement, we want to share it with everyone. So they can click on, I fixed it, and they can tell us more about what they did. We have a number of different ways for county staff to connect with us. We also have virtual open office hours from 9 to 10 every day. And it's basically an open Teams meeting, and anybody can hop on. We're always shamelessly plugging our virtual office hours. And they can also request to schedule a one-on-one with a coach, and even email us directly. So they can get to all of that through here. So let's talk a little bit about the final project. The required final project for the CI Leader Certificate is for participants to develop a daily readiness review board for their team. As Shannon and I think even Christy mentioned, some of you might know this as daily management system. There's a lot of different acronyms for this type of thing out there. And this project is intended to be completed individually, but sometimes we have multiple people from the same group, supervisors and maybe their manager or their director. And if they can complete it in a small group, if several leaders in the cohort are from the same department. The project incorporates many of the key concepts that participants have learned during the 9 sessions. Generally, our program sessions are 2 weeks apart. However, we give the cohorts a little more time to develop and implement their daily readiness review, with coaching always available, so that they can share successes, challenges, and the lessons that they learned during their report out. During sessions 5 and 9, as Shannon shared, we discussed the importance of having the appropriate metrics at each level of the organization, as well as how to choose metrics that align with the metrics for their department and the organization. And we really encourage participants to start small, just with 1 or 2 metrics, and think about what would be important and impactful for their teams to track. And how do they help their teams understand the alignment to organizational metrics? Accountability, obviously, we discussed that extensively during session 2 when we cover the 5 dysfunctions of a team, as well as during leader standard work. We want to hear from participants about how they are engaging their staff in metric improvements. Participants should report out on how they are incorporating idea generation and problem solving into their daily readiness review huddles. Things like, what are they doing to increase engagement with their teams? And as they engage their teams to generate ideas, how are they carving out time for problem solving outside of the daily readiness review huddles? Because we all know DRR huddles are supposed to be really short, just like a daily update. So the time to actually dive deep and problem solve has to be outside of that. And then how are solutions that the team is coming up with actually being implemented? On the slide, you see two different examples of how that could be demonstrated in their final report out or on a daily readiness review board. You see at the top, those two images up there are from a project management tool that we use at Snohomish County called Asana. And you can do reporting on that. Our operational excellence team does our daily readiness review through Asana. And then you can also just create a project where you track issues and you identify countermeasures and who's going to work on that. So that basically covers metrics, and it covers problem identification and problem solving. And then at the bottom there, that's really more of an example of areas that may choose to have a physical daily readiness review board. And the team that came up with this for their final project kind of made up a fake Acme company. And it was kind of a fun way for them to display how they did that. So finally, we really want the CI leader participants to share lessons learned from implementing daily readiness review, as well as from the entire program. What were their key takeaways? And also, what are they planning to do differently as leaders? And even what challenges did they have with implementing daily readiness review with their teams? Our CI Leader Certificate Program requirement is that participants must complete all sessions as well as the final project before they receive their certificate. And we totally understand that life can get in the way. There's vacations, there's illness, people have children. So we make every effort to accommodate absences. Currently, we in operational excellence, really mostly Shannon, I try to help, is we're tracking attendance and makeup sessions for each cohort. The general makeup policy that we've come up with is that if a participant misses a session, they will be automatically scheduled to attend the same session with the next cohort. Unfortunately, that can put the session needing to be made up quite a ways out. And if the session missed is critical to the completion of their final project, like if they miss the session where we're really diving in to talk about metrics, we can and have scheduled a virtual session with the participant. This is not ideal, as the participant will miss out on some of the team activities that they go through with their own cohort, but sometimes that's necessary. And as the cohorts have progressed and the word has spread, we are getting much larger numbers of applicants for the CI Leader Certificate program. And although that's a really great and welcome problem to have, it has caused us to have to increase the cohort sizes. So our next cohort size is like, I don't know, 15 or something like that.
20.
It also makes adding additional participants needing to make up sessions quite a bit more challenging. Scheduling and tracking for larger class sizes will become increasingly more time consuming, especially as those of us that provide the training also manage quite a few other projects. We're hoping that in the future, the attendance and completion of the training programs can be tracked through the county's HR training system. Currently, the HR system does track their completion. So if they were to go to their My Learning in HR, they would see that they are marked as complete for having completed the CI Leader Certificate program, but HR is not tracking absences and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so as participants complete their CI Leader Certificate, we encourage them to stay in touch with each other and operational excellence to share what they have implemented and improved. We schedule cohort collaborative sessions quarterly, and these collaborative sessions are really critical to the CI leaders' continued growth. We ask that leaders share their learnings, progress with general continuous improvement implementation and engagement, team engagement in their areas, as well as challenges they have encountered. It's intended to be an open and safe environment to receive feedback from their fellow CI leaders. Oftentimes, bouncing an idea off of another leader is just the extra bit of help that is needed. It's easy for busy leaders to get back to their management responsibilities and let the continuous improvement practice go by the wayside. And having participants participate in the cohort collaborative sessions after the program is it really helps to keep those learnings alive. We also come prepared with a 10 to 15 minute mini session should time allow. And once leaders have completed the CI Leader Certificate program, they are required to develop and maintain that daily readiness review in one functional area. And again, as we mentioned, it can be physical or virtual. And we also ask them to coach their staff as well as other leaders who report to them. We also want them to encourage other leaders who report to them to take the CI Leader program. We're also asking them to work with their team to submit 5 to 10 CI continuous improvement forms annually. And the CI Leader certification is not the end. More opportunities for advanced learning are being developed. Currently, we're developing 4 levels of CI training or four certificate levels. And as Shannon shared much earlier, a lot of this content was identified at our initial retreat and brainstorming session. And the challenge was really to determine how much and what to include at each level. All of our CI trainings and levels are what we collectively are calling OpEx University. The trainings are designed to move from beginner to advanced and build on previous learnings. We wanted to find a way to share all of the great learnings that we identified without putting too much into one thing. So level 1 is the CI introductory certificate. And in this level, participants are learning the basics of lean continuous improvement at a self-guided pace. Individuals at this level will learn about lean origins and evolution, as we feel that it's important for staff to understand how continuous improvement and lean's concepts that we use today have evolved. And they'll also learn basic continuous improvement principles and concepts, things like waste identification, scientific thinking, and the scientific method of problem solving. Level 2 is the continuous improvement practitioner certificate, and it includes 4 self-guided modules, which also include 5S and mistake proofing. And then level 3 is the CI Leader program that we just have been talking to you about today. And level 4 is really considered the advanced certified CI Leader. This level is really for individuals who have responsibilities for improvement to an entire value stream, from order to delivery, that involve more than a single process. And oftentimes this is leaders, supervisors, managers, directors, but not always. And it includes a lot of those additional concepts that Shannon had on sticky notes on the side, things like value stream mapping, setup reduction, Kanban, concepts of time and time observations, continuous flow, things like implementing pull, advanced visual management, level loading, even PQA, product quantity analysis, to name a few. And we really want at this level to develop and implement, for leaders to develop and implement a true culture shift in their areas. And so we're also developing additional advanced level continuous improvement learnings that can be added once the advanced continuous improvement leader certificate is achieved. It's important to embrace continuous improvement as an ongoing journey of learning. So one of the things we want to do real quick, I know we're a little bit over time, but we'd love to hear again, if you want to scan that QR code, are there any improvements to our program that you would suggest? there anything you didn't hear today? You can visit menti.com and use the code. I think it was put in the Q&A there, or you can scan the QR code.
That's the exchange the app. And yes, I'm correct.
Where's the website that shows all this so I can show my boss? Well, you will have access to the presentation. So at the Operational Excellence website is internal right now. So it's for Snohomish County staff. I don't think you can get to it externally. A 5-minute video of it in action. That's a cool idea. Yes, we do have director level buy-in. We're very fortunate about that. Yeah. And we have senior leadership buy-in too. So it's really great.
The other two, I don't know.
More concrete examples, please. Okay, good.
As far as
Tools library available for your staff for reference. Yes, we do. So on our website, we have a resources section where they have access to all the tools that we would say share with them during the CI Leader Certificate program, but they can get it for their teams afterwards. These are all really great ideas. Thank you so much for participating and for giving us all of this, all these great nuggets. So what we want to do now is we really want to take a little bit of time for you guys to ask any questions you might have, because we didn't have the Q&A open just because we only have so much time. So Talia, how are they going to do that?
Yeah, okay. So you have a lot of questions coming in. So first, let me just say thank you. Thank you for that amazing presentation and for giving us the goodies to the secret sauce. That was so good. And I just also want to thank our ASL interpreter, Kelly Brunson, and our CART captioner, Christina Demon. And folks, if you have enjoyed that presentation, stick around. There is going to be a post-session chat with these lovely ladies in the Government Performance Consortium that will take these ideas that they shared and really discuss how we can leverage these learnings in our organization. And I'm just gonna, I don't know, maybe take a shot in the dark here. I don't know. We have so many questions. I don't know that we're going to get to all of them. But if folks stay on this call, they'll be able to stay here and talk with you some more, right? And so maybe those questions, if you open up your Q&A, you'll be able to get to the ones that I don't get to. And also, before I get to some of those questions, I just want to let y'all know that they do have the Government Performance Consortium, known as the GPC. They do have a community of practice dedicated to transforming local government from the inside out. So since 2015, they've catalyzed a learning network that spans boundaries and silos, fostering continuous learning and innovation within their organizations. And so folks that come to the GPC for continuous improvement and performance management ideas, you can use that stuff that you learn from them the very next day. So if you want to learn more about those quarterly sessions, you can contact Stephen Sawada, and that email is ssawada@kingcounty.gov. So just wanted to get that out there. And now let's go through a couple of these really good questions. I did see some reoccurring themes here, and I think this might be a quicker question to answer to then get onto some of the more detailed ones. But who is the training geared towards? I know you mentioned you develop leaders early on. Is that leader as in positional title? So folks are saying, who are these trainings geared towards and how do we take them?
I'll take that question. So we really are focusing on leads, supervisors, managers, directors. So we want to get leaders who actually have staff reporting to them. But if there's anybody who directs staff, doesn't officially lead staff, but directs staff or influences staff, and they want to participate, we will not turn them away. We want to support anybody who wants to learn these tools and skills.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. Let's see. Do folks, once they get certified, are they recognized or identified when applying for other internal jobs?
They receive certificate. They actually get a certification. We posted on our website. One of the things that we haven't finished doing yet is we're creating a signature for their Outlook for their email so that they can adopt this standard signature that identifies them as level certification they've completed.
Nice, thank you. Are your leaders mandated to complete this program, or do people volunteer only if interested? And if they're mandated, what kind of skepticism or resistance did you encounter?
We are currently a volunteer system for this. We are discussing the potential of moving to requirements next year, but that has not been decided upon yet. But that would be our desire to have a certain level of leadership required to take it.
Wonderful, thank you. And just to clarify, do you train people outside of your organization?
We have trained some people outside of our organization, and it is something that we have on our list of things to do, but we want to make sure that we have capacity for everybody in our organization first.
Got it, got it. Okay, thank you. Oh, here's a good one. As people graduate from the training, how do you measure or monitor their retention of the ideas they've learned and whether or not they're applying them in their daily work?
That's a great question. So the requirements are that they are leading some type of daily readiness review, daily management, and the outcomes of that will be continuous improvement ideas, CI forms. I have an idea, or I fixed it, that you saw Alenka share, how people can report that they have had some improvement, and so we can celebrate their success. So we are tracking that activity. Alenka and Shannon have also created the cohort that is a required attendance by our leaders, our graduates. And so we know we need to do more, but that's what we've started with.
Wonderful, thank you. Okay, here's another good one. When someone has a good idea, but traditional leadership wants people to stay in their lane, what is the first step in going towards a more modern leadership approach?
That is a really good question.
Yeah.
So, are you asking if it's somebody, is it because their leader does not support their ideas for improvement?
That's what it sounds like. Yeah, they're
Okay.
saying, if they have a good idea, but they have really traditional leadership who just kind of
Yeah.
looks at it like, stay in your lane, we know what we're doing.
So
what's that step to move forward?
So that is why we've created the online. It is both. It can be anonymous, where they can report to us. I have an idea, so that I have an idea box, or it's a Microsoft form that we created. It's pretty simple, but that is about, I have an idea, and that idea could be, it's like a suggestion box, right? Or it's about, I need help with an idea. I need support. And so we will then, if they need some more coaching, we schedule time with them directly. Leadership, that there's not quite the support they need, then we will take that offline, and we'll do some other work within the direct leadership team to help facilitate. And that certainly does happen. And that typically is me contacting somebody in that department, usually the director, and just having some conversations about what staff are experiencing, but making sure that I keep that confidential so that person feels safe. And sometimes it's just, oh, we didn't know. So it's getting better. As I mentioned earlier, we do have some people that have been told not to talk to us, and that's kind of part of the transformation that we're going through.
And
Yeah,
we had some departments a few years ago that didn't want to work with us, and now they do. So it's an ever evolving kind
Mhm.
of thing, when people even reluctantly work with us or get training from us and they see the benefits of that, then that word spreads, and then we oftentimes get a little more involvement after that.
Wonderful. Thank you. Well, I just again want to thank you for, staying later. I think that's pretty awesome. I haven't heard of anyone doing that. So, folks, I encourage you to take advantage of that. There's so many questions, great questions that were submitted. We didn't get a chance to answer them all. So, if you have a question in there that we haven't got to, stay on the line and ask those questions and get your answers. That concludes our first day, everyone. So, thank you all for being here, joining us. Thank you to our wonderful presenters. Thank you for everyone that attended. There is so much more of the conference to come, so visit our website at results.wa.gov. You can revisit sessions there. You can watch sessions you haven't had a chance to see. You can download copies of presenter materials, and then, of course, sign up for additional sessions. There is going to be a survey pop up, so please take a moment to complete the survey. We really want to gather your real-time feedback, and then, of course, share that with our presenters and then the rest of our team so that we can just continue to improve. But thank you all for attending. We had a great time, and yeah, please, please, please stay on and ask those questions. And everyone wants to know so much about this program, so I hope they stay on and get to hear more about it. But other than that, thank you all for a wonderful,
Thank
successful first
you.
day.